a podcast that talks about music, movies, sports, and news.
To know the people, promoting and sharing with the world a beautiful story.
This is Frail Fragments Monster Closet. Hey, this is the Monster Closet, episode 166. It's Monday, September 8th, 2025. What's up, folks? We're here saying what's up. We're missing Ace today. We're wishing him safe travels. He's traveling to Switzerland right now. So, Ace Poppy, all the best to you, bro. I just wanted to check in because I had a pretty cool Friday. Something I'm going to remember forever. I went to the Deftones System of the Down concert at Rogers Stadium on Friday, right? September 5th. And 50,000 people there. Wanted to talk a bit about that and give it a bit of a show review, as well as Deftones' new album, Private Music, came out August 22nd. Hats off to you. It's their 10th studio album. They got a discography at this point. I mean, it's awesome. Stephen Carpenter, he doesn't fly or take boats after the lockdown pandemic. So it's pretty cool, pretty special that he drove from LA or Sacramento or wherever he's from all the way up to Vancouver and then drove across Canada, I think, in a bus while the band kind of toured with him. And I'm not sure how they're going to get back, but I'm assuming that they're going to play shows down the East Coast and then make their way back to LA. So hats off to Deftones for pulling it out.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, and Private Music, they have two singles, Mind is a Mountain, which is a cool kind of metal pop song. I dig it. And Milk of the Madonna, more of kind of the raw or sound, but polished sound of Deftones. But I mean, my favorite song is Locked Up on that album. I love how it's, check it out. I love how it changes from count of 4 to the count of 5 in the verses, and just to nerd out a bit, check out Locked Up. Chino's voice in the whole album sounds really, really youthful and almost creamy. It's mixed really well. I mean, it's very modulated, this album. It's very compressed, like the last album. The next song, Ulysses, or whatever the fuck it's called, love that song. I can dig with that. Souvenir, I like. Milk of the Madonna is growing on me. Cut Hands was my favorite song coming into this album. Stephen Carpenter was saying, this is kind of like Chino's band, I guess. They've been around since 1987, the Deftones. And they've been producing albums since 95. Chi died during, after right around the time of Diamond Eyes, which was an amazing album. Deftones, they're one of my favorite bands. If I had to be a band, I'd be the Deftones. I like what they do. They have a really cool sound. Abe Cunningham on the drums, I love him so much. And, Chino I love, and Stephen Carpenter's sound I love. But getting to the concert, they didn't impress me, and they it was a lot of things, right? I parked at my mother-in-law's house during this thing. The Rogers Stadium is a 50,000 seat stand fucking stadium. I mean, and there's two entrances into this place, essentially. And I mean, you're walking from the entrance for about, I would say, 10 minutes of like power walking, maybe 2 to 4 kilometers. It's about to get to anywhere that's close to civilization. I mean, and then when you get there, I mean, there's just outhouses, there's no washrooms for girls. It felt bad, my wife and I, and we've gone to tons of concerts, but this was like, we're parents now. We haven't been out in like 2 years, and this was kind of like a date night, and we were trekking. Parked at my mother-in-law's house. My mother-in-law's house is like 10 minutes of power walking to the entrance, and then it's like 10 minutes of power walking to the concert. So this is like about 5 kilometers until we get to, you know, getting our beer and our $25 each beer, and then waiting in line because we were hustling to get my kids to my mother-in-law's so we can get to see fucking Deftones, because they said they were going on at 7:20. We get there to find out that Polyphia and that other fucking band, they're not even playing in the arena. They're playing on some side stage somewhere. And Deftones, and it's like Deftones aren't playing right now, and we're waiting outside like a bunch of fucking momos for an hour for these guys to fucking open this shit to let all these people in, right? Good luck buying a fucking t-shirt at this point, because you're waiting in line for a fucking hour. And it was just like, oh my god, like I'd rather be at home sitting on my couch fucking plopped than this shit, right? Because I'm 43 years old, bro, and I play fucking concerts, right? So I get that endorphin rush from playing concerts. You know, big fan of the Deftones, more excited to see the Deftones than System of a Down. But, you know, that was a fucking buzzkill, dude. And once they opened the doors at like 8 o'clock, I mean, getting up these fucking stands, it's scary, bro. Like, you're walking like 150 feet in the sky to, you know, see this band. And Friday, September 5th was like the windiest fucking day of my life. And I mean, we were being blown away, and my wife was like digging me, like throwing digs for me bringing a sweater to this fucking thing. So I left my sweater at home, and we like barebacked it in t-shirts, and we were like holding each other with our beers, like fucking freezing to death watching this band. Once Deftones came on at 8:30, an hour and 20 minutes late, like their sound was so modulated, it was just a bunch of noise. And like Stephen Carpenter, I'm going to attribute it to him, like, because I know he uses a lot of like Fuzz Factory shit and like The Machine, and it's just like his guitar sound for half the set was panning right, and then it would pan left, like in like 2 to 3 minute intervals, it seemed like, or a minute intervals, and it was just like completely terrible. And their song choices were horrible. I mean, Be Quiet and Drive, they opened with, fine. My Own Summer, crazy. My Wife and I Were Dancing, Mind is a Mountain, fucking awesome. But I mean, it was just like modulated at Mind is a Mountain, and it was just like this fucking, just a bunch of shit. Tempest was cool, we're dancing to that. Sever City, they didn't need to play. Digital Bath was cool. Rocket States, they didn't need to play. I mean, Milk of the Madonna, whatever. I mean, it sounded like modulation fucking shit. And then with Sex Tape, I don't like that song, but they were vibing together during that song, and I was digging it, and I was proud of them. And then You've Seen the Butcher, fucking killer song. They were dialed in at that point, and then they came in with Entombed, and that was just a fucking kick in the nuts for me. And then Hole in the Earth was just, I wanted to blow my brains out. And then Change brought it down. And then Infinite Source, I fucking don't like that song. And then Genesis, I don't like that song. Minerva, another sleeper hold, but, you know, cool tune. And then Engine Number 9 in 7 words, but my wife had to take, like, we had to use the washroom at that point, so we were, like, going down all these fucking stairs, using an I was using an outhouse, and then you have to go grab a beer, walk up these stairs. You gotta be in, like, prime shape to do this shit. And you're standing the whole time. After the walk into the place, another, you know, you've been standing and like at attention for so long, bro. And I was just done. I was like, you know what? I saw System of a Down in 2002 with Miss Sugar at Cops Coliseum on a Thursday night. I just looked it up in Hamilton. And they, you know, that was for the Toxicity tour, and that was cool, right? And then I saw them in 2015, I believe, at Budweiser's in Toronto, and they were fucking horrible. They hated you could tell they weren't vibing. They hated each other. No chemistry. I mean, it was just completely fucking terrible. So I was at the point where I'm like, I'm gonna stay for a few songs and I'm gonna leave. But when System of the Down came on, like, you know, they opened up with X, and that's the song kind of, if I had to choose, and I was System of the Down. And back in my teenage years when I pretended to, rock out and be System of the Down on stage in a stadium, that was the song that I wanted to open up with. And that's the song that fucking pumped me up. And they opened up with X, and they were so fucking plugged in, dude. Like, they did a sound check, you know what I mean? It didn't seem like they ran on stage with like the Deftones and they fucking played last minute. Deftones did 18 songs. System of the Down did 25 songs. And they opened up with X, and their tones were sharp and they broke through, and you could hear them so well, and everything was really crystal clear, crisp. The drummer fucking delivered. The Serge Tankian and the singer delivered. Everyone, the annoying guitarist was there as well, and he did his job. He was too loud as normal, and you couldn't hear the bass properly because of the guitar, but I mean, it was the way System of the Down should sound. And they had something to prove, man. And they had that fucking crowd of 50,000 on their feet, and they had that crowd in the palm of their hand, and it was so cool to see, and it brought back my teenage years. And System of the Down, you did save that show, and thank you. And you played, most of Toxicity, and you played, some of the first album, Warning and Sugar and all these songs. And I'm just happy I was at that show because you guys, I could feel, had something to prove, and you enjoyed yourself, and we kind of like shared this thing. And System of the Down are no joke right now, man. They're firing on all cylinders, and I said that on my social media, and go check them out if you can, because they're fucking killer band right now. And I really love their drumming style. Like, their drums have a fucking like schizophrenic fucking energy to them, and I mean, I love that drummer, and I just really like that band at what they do. It's, for me, System are, how I remembered them were like a roller coaster, and it's cool to be on a roller coaster, but you only can be on a roller coaster for so long, and then you want to get off because it's like up and down, up and down, up and down. You can't really handle that, for me personally, that adrenaline, right? But I mean, seeing them live was just a cool experience, and they fucking kicked my ass. So hats off, man. System of the Down, you guys are awesome. We bought the $70 t-shirt at the fucking after the show, because we left early, right? Because I told my wife, 50,000 people are leaving this place. We got to get the fuck out of here. And she was pissed. We left like 4 songs early. But dude, we bought a t-shirt. Then we got lost, bro. And like, we were like trying to get home, and we're heading towards Downsview, and like, we needed to go to Wilson, and like, there's all these fucking Indian guys, and like, in the middle of like these fields, like dark fields, asking if you need Ubers and shit. And it was just like, it was a weird, trippy, it felt like we weren't even in fucking Toronto anymore, dude. We were in some foreign country, because there's people like everywhere in the darkness. And I will never go back to the Rogers Center, because it's a complete fucking shithole for a concert. And I feel sorry for, and I believe it was built, what I'm hearing, it was built because they needed to scramble for the World Cup, right? Because Toronto's getting the World Cup next year. And I mean, guys, like this, we live in that area, like, and like, you can't go north on Dufferin after like 5 o'clock, 5:30. It's bullshit. You can't get across Wilson. I'm sure fucking Wilson Heights and Keele and Shepherd are being completely fucking overrid by fucking cars and fucking zombified motherfuckers walking around. And people hate this, that are working class in the area. Like, my mother-in-law's taking the bus, home. After these concerts. She's a nurse, and like, she works afternoon shifts, and she's getting home an hour and a half, an hour later, right? And it sucks for her, and it's just, there's a lot of public being affected, and it took my wife and I like an hour to walk home, at least like an hour and 10 minutes, I would say. And dude, we walked like almost 14 fucking kilometers that day, and it's gonna be something to remember I'm never gonna forget that experience. How much Deftones fucking sucked. How fucking shit that venue was, walking everywhere. Beefing with my fucking, my significant other, for leaving early, and then we got lost, we had to walk, getting grimed by people in the woods. But System of the Down, like, made it all worth it for me, kind of. And when I got home, I was fucking dying, dude. The next day, I was fucking comatose. The Saturday, luckily it was on a Friday. I had the weekend off because the Sunday I was fucking done. Then I take my kid to soccer and a birthday party on Saturday, and I was just like dragging my ass the whole weekend. And today, Frail Fragments jamming. Don't want to keep you that long. I'm gonna switch gears and log off and let you know about, again, Frail Fragments' Halloween show. It's Saturday, October 25th, 2025 at the Drake Underground, alive with Frail Fragment, The Android Meme, and Blood Opera. We're going to have Rip Junk on the program next week from the Blood Opera, their guitarist. And Morrow's coming, their drummer as well. We're in talks with him. We're going to do our best to get the Android Meme on, Davey Wavy, where it all started. He gave me his business card at the Bovine at a Halloween show, and he was friends with the Android Meme, and I got on his podcast, The Red Pill Cartel, and he inspired me to do this, the Monster Closet, right? And he's really helped get me off the ground as far as inspiration goes, and the Red and LEN'S show and whatnot, and manifested itself into the Monster Closet. So again, Ace, we miss you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. We got some guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're playing in Hamilton as a 3-piece band this Saturday at the Doors Pub with Pyramids on Mars and Mr. Mule. And we just had Anthony Abreu on Friday. And but keep it locked. FrailFragment.com at FrailFragment. This is the Monster Closet, episode number 166. It's Monday, September 8th, 2025. We'll see you back with Davey Wavy on Thursday. And have a great week, folks. We love you. Peace.